Hello and welcome to the transparency. Look at this, just a little double feature for you guys. Yeah. Gonna give people a chance to get in chat, love. I'm looking forward to this. Sarah King, yes, this is gonna be one of a couple. Lots to talk about with the McStay's. If you guys read in my description, I'm gonna have more fun with this one. Hello again. And when I say have more fun, like whenever I do everything that has to do with Sunset Secrets, it's more of, very serious. Sunset Secrets is my baby. Aliquippa is my baby. I love that community. So many amazing people, black, white, brown, red, baby, elderly folks. What's happening there is, and what has happened there and what will continue to happen there is just, I want to do everything I can to change it. So what's up, Delaney? Melissa, welcome back. So yeah, I guess I got wind that other creators, after my live that was like 8 hours long, I think I was talking about how I'm going to be covering this, and a couple little birdies, I guess, wanted to join in. Chris, are you talking about the McStay case? Or are you talking about what case are you talking about? Just curious. So, I'm gonna give people a chance to get in chat, love. But the name of this little, I'm gonna call it like a little series that I'm gonna do, is called Missing to Murdered. Missing to Murdered. So go ahead and grab your favorite. Blue Tit and Raven joining, maybe. Go ahead and grab your favorite drink. Let's see. Yes, the McStay's. I gotta check out Greg. I bet you me and him could have some pretty good conversations. What's up, Allie79? I am here and listening. Hi, chatters. Hi, Lana. Hello, Allie79. Got my drink ready? I'm gonna get mine ready too. Am I a member now? I don't know. I don't think so. Gray? See, I don't even have my glasses on. You said gray. You wouldn't like that. Thanks, Chris. That was fun. Chris, I already like you. My type of humor. Well, that's like me with Lana. I'm like, how do you say Laura? There's no R or U or what the fuck? Miss Marple, where you at? I think I'm going to switch it up and go with the Bud Light. What do you guys think? Amanda Lee, thank you for your membership. 2 week. Member again? Oh, you weren't a member? Now you are a member? Now you are? Now you were? Let's see. It's either pickle juice, or Bud Light. Pickle juice or Bud Light. Or to hell, we can do Windex. All right. So, cheers. Adult beverages, beverage time. So if you guys are on the body shots, well, that could definitely be arranged. But I am solo here. Welcome to my dungeon today. All right, so the McStay case. Just a quick quick recap. Remember, this is a missing persons, a family missing in 2010. A husband, wife, their two small children. The reason I contemplated on by even talking about this case is because of the children and the way of the crime. I really, I contemplated not covering this because of the fashion of the crime. So the information surrounding, I watched the disappeared episode back in 2012, 2013, right at the beginning of 2013. Weird story. I'm watching this on my couch at my apartment at the time. And it's like a couch this way and a couch this way. And it was me on one couch and my girlfriend was on this couch. And we normally locked our door when we would come home because the door was right there where the living room was. And our neighbor had been intoxicated, and literally instead of going left into his apartment, he came into and was able to open up the door. And as the disappeared episode was going with this case, this dude just flies in. We of course lose it. You just, I mean, you're startled when someone just walks into your, but I'll never forget that. I was like, that's it. Just, oh my God, this is our night. We're dead. We're goners. Watching Disappeared. Watching the McStay's across the border. Mexican border was the name of the episode. Woo. So yeah, that's what happened when I watched that for the first time. And at the time when I watched this, the family was missing. And I always watched those episodes because I would then go and look and see, it could have been a case from, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Were these people ever found? Then I would kind of search a little bit and take a look. Oh, Melissa, it was crazy when this dude flew in. And I was like, and of course I was like, oh my God, this is it. We're done. Dear sweetheart, I'll make sure I figure it out how to help you there. Maybe Boston or Bumblebee can. So, so I'm watching this episode, and immediately I go and I look, and at the time, no, they had not been found, the family. And everything surrounding this case at the beginning is, like I said, missing. So you have to think of missing persons. This fell on a long holiday weekend, with it being President's Day in February. But prior to it, there was supposed to be a birthday party for one of the, one of the boys. And Joseph and Summer, that had just moved from the beach in an apartment to a way bigger house in the burbs, and got the house for a ridiculous deal because I believe it was a house that was in foreclosure. And they were going to just be doing some remodeling and whatnot. So the house in itself was being, quote unquote, remodeled in different areas. But the first thing I noticed when watching this Disappeared episode was, I don't care if you're remodeling or not, there was no beds in any of the rooms, minus the parents' room. And I even believe that bed was like a blow up, like an air mattress. But then, so I'm watching this, and their Isuzu Trooper was the family vehicle that was used, as well as, Joseph had a work truck. He made fountains. He made outdoor, fixtures, whether it was residential, commercial. And he worked with a couple different shady characters in terms of how the show kind of made it seem like. And I'll get to those two characters, but I'm glad it led me to this channel. Oh, Chad, how'd you get to this channel? I must have missed that. So a couple of the things, if you haven't seen the episode, I recommend starting with the disappeared episode so you can kind of see just that background, which matters because everything that comes to when the bodies were found in shallow graves in the middle of this desert, Mojave Desert, about 90 miles away from their home in Fallbrook. It was found by a motorcycle dude, came across some bones. And lo and behold, in 2013, it was right around this time in November, there was basically there was like 4 graves. And in one of the graves was a 3-pound sledgehammer and some other evidence was in there, and I'll get to that. But in the disappeared episode, you didn't know anything about this. You just know that they're still missing. And everybody thought that they went and crossed the border and went to just like they wanted to start a whole new life, and they went across the border to Mexico. And the Isuzu trooper that they had was left at, right around where the border was to like lead people to think that's what they did. But the house was left in just complete weird disarray. So let's go to the day that they disappeared. So the day that they disappeared, Joseph, the dad, had to meet with Chase Merritt, who was his business partner with doing Earth-inspired products, EIP. And so they had to meet, and they were meeting, I think it was Rancho Cucamonga, at Chick-fil-A. And they both basically drove halfway from their houses, and they lived like 90 minutes from each other. So I think it was both like, 45 minutes, something like that. And they met at this Chick-fil-A, and then according to Chase Merritt, Joseph goes back home. They were talking about some job that they had to do in Saudi Arabia and some other stuff. And, Chase goes home. And in this video, they talk about, there was a neighbor that had surveillance camera that was able to see that the Isuzu trooper taillights were caught leaving at about 7:47 p.m. on February 4th. But prior to leaving, Joseph had made a couple phone calls, and Summer also made a phone call to Joseph via his cell phone. He called her as well. And those were made at like 5 and 5:30. And then there was an 8:25 p.m. phone call from Joseph's phone. So after leaving the house, supposedly, the Isuzu trooper is caught on camera, like the bottom of it. And the family just supposedly drives off, and this Isuzu trooper never to be seen or heard from again, and the Isuzu trooper never comes back. So here we go. But at 8:25, per the reports, the Joseph tried to call Chase. Chase said he was watching a movie with his girlfriend at the time, and that he just didn't answer it. And that he would just call, he was just watching a movie and just figured he'd just give him a call tomorrow or whatever. So now, again, Chase is his business partner. Joseph has a brother named Mike McStay. Joseph's parents are divorced, but his dad, Patrick, and his mom, both very active in Joseph's life. Now, Joseph had another son that was older, 16 at the time, from a previous relationship. And again, they were planning on having a birthday party for one of the boys. And one of their friends was doing some paint work, at the house, and had came a couple times the week leading up to the disappearance. And in the disappeared episode, it was, this gentleman didn't make it seem like there was much to be, had about anything. He kind of just kept a low profile in his involvement with this disappeared episode. But he did mention something about that Summer was being weird, and the way that he may have been doing the painting, it was just, he said that was the only thing that was awkward. So I kind of just, put him off the side burner. And you get to then, okay, who realized that the family was missing? Why, how, when? The boys weren't in school because they were younger. So it wasn't like the kids didn't show up for school or something like that. And February 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, Chase is trying to get in touch with Joseph. He can't. He then says he goes over to the house and realizes that the dog is in the backyard. Now, mind you, nobody knew this, but the neighbors had called the pet people, and because the dogs was barking out in the back, and somebody fed it, supposedly gave the dog food, and just a lot of weirdness surrounding the fact that this dog is outside. The neighbors call, but then food was placed out for the dog, and that was kind of it. Chase begins to say, I can't get a hold of Joseph. He calls his brother and the dad, and is very adamant that, something's wrong. We have to go over there. We have to, this isn't. So then finally, Michael McStay, the brother, you would think okay, let's jet right over there right away. It wasn't like that. Again, making it seem weird. So Michael McStay, what's up, buddy? So they go into the house. They finally get over there. They go into the house. They actually had to go through a window through the back. And when they get in there, they see popcorns out in little, bowls for the kids on one of the couches. They noticed that the couch, though, it was like a fold-in a futon. Those couch. But there was the 2 popcorn little containers, but the cover for the futon was missing. And there was cracked eggs on the counter, spoiled milk out. Just it was a mess. And then, but no sign of a struggle. Just more they hadn't really moved in yet. Their stuff was in a pod, they said, but they had a kid's house that you would have normally outside, like a plastic, bigger one the kids would play in. That was in one of the bedrooms. I don't know if the kids slept in that or something. It was just really awkward. It was a very awkward scene. But it was also, if you had moved, okay, you could see this, you could see that. But, But nowhere in the house was there any like traces of blood. Like I said, nothing was broken. No signs of a struggle. Let me revert to my actual day. Because I don't want to give. Yeah, they had said by the way that things were left, Sarah, that it did look like everybody had left in a hurry. Okay. Well, basically what ends up happening is that the brother Michael thinks that they just went on like a family vacay for like a long weekend because they use President's Day as like a, you have off that Monday, so you're doing like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday type thing, like a long weekend. And then like they just never came back, and so okay, we started to worry. It's not something that he would always talk to his brother like okay every day or anything like that. But the one person that did talk to him was his business partner, and it's so when they end up filing these missing persons, and they ran some stuff, it came back, and that they found the Isuzu Trooper. And it was said that the Isuzu Trooper was parked at like a, right before you're going to cross the border at a place that had like a bunch like strip mall type thing. And actually the Isuzu Trooper was towed due to being like abandoned. And it came back that it was towed on February 7th or 8th. I'm sure somebody that's, going to be a Google whiz, just throw it up there so I can put that up there. And so, me sleuthing at the time, I said, okay, well, wait, if they went missing on the 4th because they supposedly saw the Isuzu Trooper leaving, they went, and left that on the 4th. Where the fuck was the Isuzu Trooper, and what the fuck were they doing 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th? You have to look at when it was towed away. But yeah, if they were planning on leaving, contacting anyone to take care of the dog. Yeah, but at the time, the way that they made it seem like it wasn't suspicious is that the dog was supposedly, fed and put in. But that the first time it wasn't, but nobody knew that, and that started coming out. So to answer that, oh my God, Charles Merritt, look at that. Used to hang out at our local bars. My friend said he seemed like a nice guy. Yeah, we'll get into a little bit about Chase. His age, his ability to what they claim is motive and that good stuff. But immediately you're like, okay, on this disappeared episode, it was that they left, that there had been Google searches on the computer of, about going over to Mexico and about like passports and what you would need, just really weird searches that were found on the internet. And, they had done a couple different searches, and well, Joseph McStay, the dad, had over $100,000 in one of his bank accounts, which then I started sleuthing, and I found out that Joseph was having a hard time paying his rent at the apartment that he resided in by the beach because he loved to surf. But now those beach places are, just because they're smaller, they're super expensive when you're going to be on the beach. But he had a hard time paying this. And then when it was brought up that, wait, there's $100,000 in this account, where is this money coming from? All of a sudden there's this money. So then I started thinking about maybe a little bit of illegal activity, hiding, using your water fountain company as a front for something else. So you're just putting things possible. And then here, Chase Merritt was involved with the disappeared episode. He had done interviews prior to. And then little bits of pieces, started coming out, over the years of when they were missing. And the family didn't suspect Chase at all. In fact, it was Chase that brought it to their attention. Like, we need to do something. We need to call the police. And when Chase was given, breaking news in the case was, after finding the Isuzu Trooper, it had a bunch of gifts in the way back from Ross department store, just back there, in SUV style, so not in the back seat, but in the back. And there was breaking news that they showed this footage of a family of 4 walking across the border, and they found this footage to match at the same time of when, between them on the 4th and it was the 6th. And they showed this footage to Chase Merritt. They showed it to his, brother, dad, mom, showed it to Chase. Chase on, camera when he was asked, he's like, do you think that this is the family? Now, if he murdered this family, okay, and then this happens to surface, why wouldn't Chase Merritt be like, oh man, that actually could be them? No, he was like, no, that doesn't look like the way he was talking about people's walks and stuff like that. He's like, I don't think it's them. Now, somebody who had just, committed a murder, a family of 4, oh, that could be them, So, the San Bernardino Police Department, or was it San Mateo? They were going back and forth on who to have take over this case. But they went ahead and labeled that they deemed that the family went to Mexico, and that they are allowed to start up a new life, and that's up to them. And that based on the evidence that they had it to that point, that's what they deemed up and until finding the bodies, which comes in 2013 by that motorcyclist. And, they found the remains, and they were positively identified as Joseph, Summer, Gianni, and Joseph Jr. And that was in 2013. Then I was like, when that broke, I was like, oh, hell no. So then I started piecing stuff together on my own and just looking at different things, following a couple of the different rabbit holes, you could say. But at the end of the day, it was, okay, let's go back to the day that anybody was last seen, February 4th. And then stuff started to get revealed. And then Chase, within 1 year to the time of the bodies being found, he was arrested in 2014 for the murders of the family. And just him alone was, and they came out and they said that the family was bludgeoned to death in the home. And I said, WTF. They had Tim from Texas with the search. What the fuck? He was on the disappeared episode. Yeah. Oh my God, are we suggesting that Chase is innocent? No, we're just talking about something, Chris, but we're going to talk about evidence here in a second. We're going to talk about, just a bunch of things, actually. So something that stuck out to Tim was Joseph's mom, when they had come over to look at the house, when they were trying to find them, she started cleaning up the whole house. Then the brother, Michael, took his laptop, took a camera, SD card, and then some stuff was getting released on, the probable cause, arrest warrant, all that stuff, which had to do with financials and cell phone pings. And they had their theory, which was that Chase, Joseph left the meeting, goes home, and that Chase followed him home, got there, and went into the home that evening and bludgeoned the family, torturing them all and killing everybody with a 3-pound sledgehammer, all in that home. And that he had time to paint this home and cover up blood and get rid of all this blood, and used the futon, the cover of the futon. So this was, their theory, and that, Chase is the business partner, Chase. And they said it was for money reasons, that basically that meeting that they had for the Chick-fil-A meeting was Joseph confronting Chase on some money that was owed to him, anywhere in the sum of $21,000. Now, when they did these jobs, though, these jobs were big jobs, like these water fixtures, and Chase was going to Saudi Arabia to do a job. Saudi Arabia, what the fuck? Yeah. But when I saw all of this, I immediately said this to myself. Okay. Chase is in his vehicle, supposedly. And Joseph's in his, and if he went home and he was following him, because the phone records, whatever, supposedly shut off his phone, chased it or something like that. He shut off his phone. But they were alerting to the cell phone tower pings, but at the time we didn't know about this. So I was just going off of what I knew at the time. I said, so how did Chase do this? He would have had to, what did he put them in? His work truck? But the Isuzu Trooper left. So how are you one person doing all of this about transporting? Not only being able to, the house has no trace of blood anywhere in it. I always felt that the family was lured out of the house somehow. Versus, but their theory was that he was killed, that they were all killed in that house. And I said, that's just fucking impossible. Could he have had an accomplice? We're going to get to that. That's not their version of events. It's that Chase is responsible for all of this. And that there was no accomplice. And I'm just simply here on day one to talk about how do you think that you're going to load up a family of 4 in a Isuzu Trooper, bludgeoned to death, blood everywhere? There was no blood found in the Isuzu Trooper. So, you know, what ended up being found was traces of Chase's DNA on the arm swipe and the steering wheel, partial part on the steering wheel. Law and Order TV did his trial. So every single episode you can see it. So how the fuck does all this happen? Mind you, you have all these neighbors. These neighbors said that they didn't see anything. Nothing was out of the ordinary. That no white, big looking truck was parked there doing, to cover your tracks to the point of blood splatter on the ceilings, blood all over. Then, remember I told you we're going to put this little guy off? The guy that did the painting? The guy that was hired, that was a family friend. It was a weird name. Was it Spencer? I think it was Spencer. Well, now he becomes valuable because how did you leave the stuff when you left the paint job? And like I said, we're going to get into all that, but I want to go back and I just want to talk about one thing. No DNA on the door handles, though. Correct. The DNA was weird. Because as a business partner, to have traces of that, but he claimed in an interview that he was never in the Isuzu Trooper, but there's ways that you can do trace DNA and it can transfer. But Chase was going to represent himself. Yeah. Anyways, this ended up going to trial in 2019. Arrested in 2014, not trial until 2019. And I just go back to, how do you transport, this family of 4 and not be seen, coming and going out of that house, not be seen because you're, if you're cleaning it up or whatever. Like, I don't care, paint or no paint. They went through that whole house. There was no trace of blood. And you're still going to have traces of blood even if you tried to paint over blood. Sorry, there's no bleach, heavy bleach or anything like that. Remember, the house was it was left a wreck. And so I just completely disagree with the state that there was any type of murder that took place at or in that home. But regardless, how does the Isuzu Trooper end up where it was? Chase would have had to gotten picked up from dropping off that Isuzu Trooper where it was. This won't be the only coverage. This is just the first episode of many. And this is a more relaxed episode. So we're just talking about the disappeared episode, because I'm encouraging everybody to go watch that episode, because that kind of gives you a really good feel for, this was a missing persons case, and that always matters in the beginning of investigations with stuff like this that turn to murder. I'm going to scroll back to see people, what you guys have said, because I have not been following chat. I remember seeing all the cereal bowls. Yes. Yep. It was, if someone's going to go in there and clean the place up, why wouldn't you clean that up? So we all know that Chris believes that he was bludgeoned. He bludgeoned the family for money, and we're going to get to that. Lana has such a different way of viewing evidence and breaking it all down, viewing small details that nobody else does. It makes you view everything different. I take pride in that comment. Thank you. Yeah, not one speck of blood found in the home. I mean, also at the grave site, and they talked about it in trial, you know, Summer's bra was ripped and her panties were down, and because of the way how her clothes were at the gravesite, and it led to them speculating, the defense at trial, about the possible sexual assault of Summer. And, you know, the way the family was killed. All right, let's see where I was left off over here. I'm glad you're covering this. I'm in the true crime community and offered any resources I can help with. Allie, sick effort. Thank you for your comment, Allie. I mean, whoever did this is sick. Now, where stuff becomes weird is a guy by the name of Dan Kavanaugh, who was also a business partner of Joseph, in the terms of that he handled like the tech stuff, like, you know, everything to do with computer stuff, the website building of it. And we'll get into more breaking stuff down, but want to introduce you to Dan Kavanaugh, who was another person that was a business partner. So you have Chase Merritt, who was like the contractor in a way. He built the fucking things. And then you have, you know, Joseph owning this, and you have Dan Kavanaugh, who is, you know, techie, doing the website, marketing, PayPal. We'll get into all this stuff. Police would smell the paint and become suspicious. Yeah, and it wasn't like that. Also, they were remodeling. A couple things that I just, you know, Michael asked if he could take stuff from the house, meaning the computer, the laptop. Now, on the day that the family went missing, what they put in the affidavit, probable cause, arrest warrant, was the fact that business checks from, like, if you have the software program, what the fuck is it? I have it myself. QuickBooks. that you're writing out, you're making these checks or whatever. Well, there was checks starting to be made out on the day that they went missing and days after that. And it was checks being written out to Chase Merritt. Now, Chase had I think, very normal answers for stuff like that. Like anything that he did, the brother, the mother, they wanted to keep the business going. And it was like, okay, well, this is what has to happen. And so he was showing them what needed to get paid and what it was going to be for. And now the question is that what the money was used for? Did Chase receive any payment for any of the jobs? Things of that nature. Yeah, I would love to talk to the Victorville guys over there. It's funny that you mentioned this. It was supposed to be on 11/15 that she was going to, cover the McStay case, and now it got pushed to 11/17. But yeah, everybody knows that I definitely made this known in my lives leading up to today. But that's funny. I know she now is taking votes through super chats for her karaoke night. Oh, imagine that. That's how I had people vote in my award show. I mean, Natasha Cooper, it's okay. You're going to be working for me soon, honey. You might as well get used to doing things how I like them. In order to be confident to represent yourself, you, Chase, must be pretty confident nothing can tie you to the murders. He could have hired somebody. Somehow he lured the family out, a Zuzu, a decoy. So immediately what I thought was that the decoy was, in my opinion, this has never been talked about, but this is why I guess I'm different, that the meeting was the decoy. But if the meeting was the decoy, he goes to the meeting to meet Chase, then you know that Summer's just at home with the children. But Summer left and had a planned meet up with her sister. Okay. So nobody would have known what Summer's plans were that day. And then we know that Summer's phone and Joseph's phone, they talked. But just because somebody calls somebody doesn't mean that the person who that phone belongs to is the person that made that phone call. What was telling to me, and like I said, we're going to get into this way more as I break it down, was that you could actually tell with the pings when they were on the phone, where they were traveling to and from based on the towers that were passing the phone call off. Chase, in my opinion, had a couple good points, and that Joseph dead is useless to him in terms of money because Joseph set up all the deals. So if Joseph's dead and murdered, he can't make money. And depending on how much money that they were normally making, how do I want to say this? If you owe somebody $20,000, but you make $300,000 a year, $20,000 ain't shit. If you make $40,000 a year and you owe somebody $20,000, that's a lot of money. And also, Joseph, obviously, Summer and the children, there's nobody that's claiming this at the time other than some Excel spreadsheets that we'll get into from the discovery, and Dan Kavanaugh. They also said that Chase had like a gambling problem. We're going to interview Natasha Cooper to get a comparison of how much activity you think equals a gambling problem. Were they decapitated? That wasn't ever. This was there. There was just bones, and that was never mentioned. No. There was skull fractures in their jaw, like the kids' jaws, and there were skull fractures. The whole like lure somebody away and to take people, that's like a ransom thing in a way. If in fact you want money for exchange of your family, meet me here and I'll give you your family. Okay. And then, with the money, well, there was no money that was withdrawn from any accounts that they, knew about. Now, does that mean that there wasn't a bunch of cash in the house? But to sit here and tell me that family was brutally murdered in that house, I'm going to tell you, you're out of your fucking mind. No way. The evidence does not support that at all. Molson man, I've seen you before. So, first time here. I don't know if it's been your first time in my comments, but welcome. I've definitely seen that name before. Oh, thank you, Lori. Thank you. So Dan has access to the entire back end. He has all the control then. He had a lot of control, yes. Dan said that he was in Hawaii at the time, of the homicides, or at the time of the disappearance. Because remember, we don't know anything about this being a homicide until 3 years down the road. Please don't block me after you've read my what? Could the paint have been to cover up a grow op, maybe? And that is drawing the op. Just wondering. Well, they were definitely remodeling this house. The paint, the guy that was doing it, he testified that it wasn't like he was like, oh God, that isn't the job that I did. Somebody had to definitely come in here and, do this. No, none of that happened. I don't delete comments if they disagree. I promise you that. I have to admit that initially I had made my own negative opinion about Lana. How did you make your own negative opinion? Are you sure that it wasn't influenced by outsiders? But you're definitely right about the fact that I am doing positive things. I will say I have to agree with you there, Molson man. Thanks, at Boston. I've been drinking and am never this engaged. Cheers. Did I miss somebody's comment? I thought I wanted to see one up here. Laura Lane covered it too, called The Family That Vanished. Yeah, so a couple people did it with, what was really respectable is it was called, what was his name that did it? He did a book, and he was like blaming a lot of stuff on Summer. And then when the bodies were found, anybody that had purchased that book from him, he was willing to reimburse anybody that bought that book. It'll come to me. Man, Lana, these other cases, I'm like, she's got a point, but this, no, he killed this family. Chase killed these people. Chris, I'm not sitting here saying that Chase Merritt didn't do it or did not do it. My thing is that the state saying that he did it in the house, and then I watched the whole trial, and which I'm going to show clips and stuff of it to show where, if you haven't watched the whole trial, you know, this is what I try to do. If you read a newspaper article, I don't care who writes it. It's, where are they getting their information from? Did they sit in on every day of the trial? Where are they getting their information? Like, just everything and anything. And after what I've actually witnessed myself over the past year, my thoughts on the media is just, I mean, how I sat in the same courtroom as a couple of the big time writers or, investigative journalists of like NBC and CBS and KYs. I mean, all these, whatever the letters are. I'm just like, wow, how in the world are you saying what you're saying? And me and you sat in the same room on the same day at the same time. And what I have to say is just totally, completely not the same thing. And it's either one of us are lying or one of us has an agenda. And my agenda is the truth. And do I think that the case against Chase Merritt was strong? No, I don't. But then you have to say, okay, who killed this family? Who did this? What the evidence that was presented at trial was very, his attorneys for them, like there was just a lot of fuckerage, but Melina, who his attorney was, the conviction that I saw in Melina, overly like just, Chase Merritt is innocent, and his conviction of that in the way that he represented Chase Merritt, I thought was compelling to look into the finer details. And then Chase Merritt's other attorney, McGee, pulling his stunts that he did there at the end was just, I've never seen anything like that in my life. Getting booted, just wow. And the truth always wins. Unfortunately, it doesn't always win. It's unfortunate, but I think the truth eventually rises. I believe in your agenda, Lana, and I just started following you. Thank you. The media and prosecution flat out lied on the Rittenhouse case. People have asked me if I've been following that at all. I have not been, so I can't really comment on it, but it wouldn't surprise me. I watched every day, every boring day. Wasn't some of the stuff just completely crazy? That was crazy. I watched the whole trial and I'm objective. Perfect. Well, then good. We'll have some really good adult discussions, because I just have a couple gray areas for you. So Sarah King, I had a marathon read about this case. Yes, you probably did. Yes, Rick Baker, Kitty Witty. That was it. And what are your thoughts, Sarah King, on your deep dive? Yeah, there was, I mean, Summer had alias names. Just, I really wanted to find out more about the business. Joseph is a surfer dude, was, rest in peace. I mean, that's just, like I said, I didn't even want to talk about this because it's just sad. But Joseph, you know, a surfer dude, really kind of relaxed, you know, not like, you know, Summer wore the pants in the relationship, and, you know, if Joseph wants to lend his buddy, who's his business partner, money, and he has, like, you know, problems with it, but he's got him as a laborer, and he knows that, okay, yeah, so here I spotted him 10,000. We got these, you know, 4 or 5 jobs coming up. You know, I'm going to be taking that from your checks, like what I'm going to be paying you, you know. It, to me, I know people have probably killed over lust, but you know, I just don't see, unless people out there can believe that Joseph was going to the authorities, you know, which I just, that wasn't there. And so, and to have some heated conversation at Chick-fil-A. Also, the other thing is about Chick-fil-A is that they just did a shit fucking job. Again, I don't know what the hell these investigators are doing, but did you go to Chick-fil-A? Did you get any fucking footage? Was there even a fucking meeting that day? Because the only person that is saying that there was a meeting, who's alive, is Chase. Like, how do we know there was a meeting? And did we take the pings? You know, did Joseph's cell phone ping in? I think it was Rancho Cucamonga that the meeting was over there. But back when they were missing people, and Chase is telling you that they met at that Chick-fil-A. Okay, did you guys go to Chick-fil-A? Did you guys ask? Hey, did you remember seeing this guy, or you know, this guy? Do you guys I see you guys with surveillance cameras. I mean, I regularly travel between Pittsburgh and Middletown, Ohio. Okay, I'm very familiar with both areas. I'm a fan of you, Chris. Trust me. I like people that engage. It's like somebody with sex. Like, I don't, nobody wants anybody that just lays there on their back, you know? I agree they were not killed in the house. Yeah. Also, there has been things that said that, like, you know, Summer wasn't the cleanest housewife. There wasn't just the popcorn out, guys. There was dirty diapers upstairs. You know, not to put rest her soul, Summer on blast or whatever, but like the mom of Joseph had said that, yeah, you know, Summer isn't like a really, you know, good with keeping a home, or, you know, whatever. So if somebody came in my house right now, they would think, yeah, this bee just left in a hurry, or they would think that I folded laundry and I stopped folding laundry, but everything's folded, it's just not upstairs. Why is my mirror on the ground like that? Oh, because it fell. I don't know, it's just crazy. Like, you just, but that, they're not going to find dirty diapers upstairs on the floor, and you're going to find probably a couple beer bottles up by the sink. some plates in the sink. I'm more excited because I'm drinking. Did they pay with a debit card at Chick-fil-A, Lana? I know what you mean, Lana. Yeah, well, these are all things that I'm going to get into. Like when I say that I deep dive this was one of this case, OJ, John Benet Ramsey, because I could get my hands on, but I got my hands on the discovery in this case. And I remember one day I was printing out all this paper. And it was like, what the fuck am I doing? Why? Who gives a flying fuck? Like, why am I so concerned about reading this goddamn discovery that I have nothing to do with? But it interests me because I just thought it was a really messed up. I didn't believe the narrative. That's to be truthful. I am headed out, guys. Have a great hump day. Appreciate the kindness here. See you next time. Absolutely. Very kind folks in this bunch. I agree they were not killed in the house, and I would like to know more about the partner that was in Hawaii. Yep, that's Dan Kavanaugh. Danny boy. Well, that's the thing, is that this money just kind of came out of nowhere. Joseph wasn't rocking $100,000 bank account. And I immediately was like, God, what are they doing? Like, this fixture shit has to be a front. I think that the timeline, I question how they think Chase did this by himself. And that, you know, then Joseph's phone call to Chase, that phone call was made just outside of Fallbrook, which is where the family's house was, from on Joseph's end. And on Chase's end, that phone call came through. He just didn't answer it. So on that opposite side, it pinged where the phone was, which put him at his home. It didn't put him like in Fallbrook. So how do you explain that? How do you explain those two phones should have been by each other? Oh, and then they were saying that Chase left his phone on purpose with his girlfriend. That was the other thing I think that they were saying. It was a lot of like, I'm just like, no, that's speculation. The fuck? I clean houses for families that make way less than they did. It's where they didn't have a housekeeper. They just were like surfer people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have some really fun surfer friends in Florida, and they're just really laid back. And that type of shit just, I don't know. I mean, again, just a very weird situation. I think they had a housekeeper 3 days a week. No, they didn't have a housekeeper. Wait, so they were having a business meeting at Chick-fil-A, but one of the business partners is out of town. Nope, they were having a yeah. Yes, Dan Kavanaugh was in Hawaii. Wait till I get into all of like the outs and ins with all of this. They didn't trust Dan. Dan threatened Joseph McStay, threatened Summer. Summer hated him. I mean, there's just a lot to it. And it's like, that's what Chase's lawyers were like, how are you not looking at Dan Kavanaugh right now? Like, what are you doing? You just totally zeroed in. And Dan Kavanaugh testified at trial. Yeah. Just, do you ever go to the that sandbar over, where the hell is it? Where all the sharks are at. It'll come to me too on that. I've been surfing over there. Surfing's a bitch. I mean, I love it, but not necessarily. I think that the worst thing that you could ever do to somebody is make their husband watch something like that. So, but I mean, and also there was additional evidence found on Joseph. Yeah, I'm going to get into that. I'm new to engaging, more exciting because I'm drinking. Big drinker, Chris. I clean for real laid back people. They're the most likely to have cleaning people. Oh, I love it. Jackie, I watched the McStay's trial and saw some of the shows on the case. So sad and weird. Yep. Boston agreeing on everybody being kind in chat love. Well, why wouldn't we be kind in chat love? First, I've heard of this case. Yes, Delaney. First, you've heard of it, and then just randomly out of the blue, two creators that I don't know, don't really see eye to eye, decide to cover the case. Come on, y'all. That's some funny ass shit, though. I can't wait to find out what their research team comes up with. Hi, Delaney. Welcome. I'm going to do one more beer with you guys. I'm going to pull up something and call it a nice night here. Two wounded soldiers. We're going to go for 3. All right. Let's see. I think I sent a cheers. Jimbo Sandbar in Fort Lauderdale. Yeah, it's by there. So when I lived in Key West, I would fly back and forth out of Lauderdale a lot. I love Fort Lauderdale. I go there often. Like, it's the easiest flight too, and you can find some like really easy stays and cheap stays. Oh, let's go like this. So one of the pings that I thought was really telling, I think I have it. Indonesia. Wow. Okay. Let's talk about it. Let's see. So one of the things that was interesting to me at trial was okay, here we go. Let me share this with you guys. Share screen. All right. Oopsies. Okay. There's the Isuzu Trooper. That's the video of the mom, dad, and then the two boys from the surveillance. Now, cell towers from the records reveal that the two mobile phones belonging to Joseph and Summer McStay last pinged a pair of T-Mobile towers along Highway 76 in Bonsale at points 7 miles west of the McStay's home in Fallbrook. So both of their cell phones ping at the same location. After the 7:47 p.m. departure that Thursday night, Joseph McStay's mobile phone, a T-Mobile G1 Android, received no further incoming calls. It made only one outbound call at 8:28 p.m. Joseph McStay phone dialed his business partner Chase Merritt. Records indicate a call duration of 1 minute. No further calls or texts were ever made or received. It is now being reported that the call to Merritt was made from within a 1.5 mile radius of a cell tower that sits beside the old bridge that spans the wide and densely overgrown bed of the San Luis Rey River. So like how I said, right after he left, supposedly, the thing that was interesting though here, do they say that where was Chase Merritt's phone? And the reason it was 1 minute long is because he let it go to voicemail, but no voicemail was left. And the mobile phone belonging to Summer McStay registered its final call at 4:42 that same Thursday afternoon. Her phone continued to receive text messages after the disappearance, 8 in total. 3 texts sent by family and friends. Oh, that was his name, MacGyver. That was the painter, MacGyver. Those were on Friday, 3 of them, because he was supposed to paint. The last 4 texts, including 2 messages from Dan Kavanaugh, an associate of Joseph McStay, arrived on Saturday. The final text message registered at 10:59 a.m., presumably just before the mobile phone's battery was exhausted. So, again, her phone wasn't shut off, and it continued to receive messages. Some of these text messages to Summer McStay pinged the same T-Mobile tower as Joseph McStay's phone call on the night of the disappearance. The other text messages pinged a companion tower of the opposite side of the river. Summer McStay's phone was not buried and wasn't submerged. It was not broken. It was switched on, and for 2 days, it was within reach of the T-Mobile tower of that bridge. So something that I think is worthwhile talking about right there is, why would Dan Kavanaugh be texting Summer McStay? Was that normal for him to be texting Summer? Why would you ever leave Key West? It's so beautiful. I lived there to start a branch of my trivia company. And the schools aren't that great there, so but yes, it's the Keys are awesome. So author, now this is the guy that they offered the money back by the No Goodbyes. Author Rick Baker says he reviewed over 100 emails, hundreds of emails showing that Summer and Joseph were having problems, and that their relationship was, in his words, about to explode. Baker speculates, among other things, that at least one of the family members may have met with foul play. No, this is why he refunds everybody. He does this whole book, and then he says, I personally believe that Summer probably killed Joseph, and we should be looking for Summer and the two kids rather than a family of 4 that decided to just flee on their own. Baker told 10 News. He said personal emails from Summer indicated that she was, quote unquote, a very unhappy, conflicted woman before the family vanished. Still, he admits that he doesn't have all the answers in this bizarre case. So I remember all these emails now. Summer and Joseph were emailing back and forth, and these emails got revealed somehow. But Mike McStay was really upset with Baker. I remember that. He was just trying to make money and stuff like that. Baker says that he is donating all of the books profits to search and rescue organizations in Houston. He is also offering $25,000 cash to anyone who can lead him to any of the 4 missing McStay family members. That was when they were all missing. I remember that. Yeah, but I definitely remember that he held Summer responsible. So. But offered everybody money back when they were found. The trooper was found way away. Those pings, like her phone, what it appears to be is that it was, tossed out, I guess you could say. Let's say thrown out of the car on the highway, and it landed in the grass and it was still on. Some like type of thing. But her phone, but then they were saying that the phone was switched on. So what did he say in the text? They don't talk about the content of the text. I'd have to go back and catch Dan Kavanaugh's statements that he made, because he was questioned about that at trial. So yeah, this is just the beginning of many, because I'm gonna just put up different things. Like I said, there's a timeline, and it just, how is it possible that, okay, this is just a simple math question, and when you take math, you just, okay, at 7:47, a phone is being used, or the Isuzu trooper is seen leaving. They say, well, it's taillights. It's taillights believing to be the Isuzu trooper from the neighbor's surveillance at 7:47. Then at 8:28, you get the phone call. Joseph McStay phone dialed his business partner, Chase Merritt. But where both of those two where their phones were located, if Merritt is with Joseph's phone, why is Merritt's phone pinging in where he lives, which is, 90 minutes away? That to me was, a big hang up, and that's when they're going into a ton of premeditated murder. And I'm like, well, what? I'm just going to point out some things, and you guys can, decide what you think. But again, I'll just be bringing the facts, and you guys can bring your brains. Maybe I'll bring some beers. So, so I'm going to be wrapping this up. But till next time, it's a case of, evidence. That's all. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. All right, again, guys, until next time. Good night. Sleep tight. Take down those beers, Chris. Again, one of many. Rest in peace, the McStay family.